Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
Alrighty, so we are going to get started with the salsa basic. And so I'm gonna dance with you as a lead and you will then follow me.
Okay.
So I'm actually gonna teach you the follow footwork for
Okay.
salsa. All right, so you wanna start with your feet together, which you already got, which is perfect. You're gonna take your right foot and you're going to go back with your right, rock forward, back on the left, and then together. And then take your left foot and go forward, rock forward, then go back on your right together. So let's do that again. So go back with the right together, forward with the left together. Oh, you're doing great.
Thank you.
All right, okay. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Now, salsa is a dance that comes from Cuba, okay? And we're gonna do another basic. So you're gonna take your right foot and go to the side and together, left to the side, together, right to the side. So it's a dance from Cuba, which is a combination of a dance called son, and then there's cha-cha and rumba. So all of these dances kind of come together and create salsa. Let's go back to our basics. So back with the right and forward with the left. So a lot of those dances are actually rooted in African movement and music. So a lot of the steps actually started out as work dances that people would do when they were working on the plantations. And then it became movement, okay? And then now we have salsa. Let's go to the side. And I'm gonna add one more little basic for you, okay? And then we're gonna do a cross back with the right.
Oh, we're getting funky.
Together,
Hold on, hold
getting
on.
real funky. We're
Okay.
gonna cross back with the right and together, and then cross back with the left and together. Cross back with the right and together, cross back with the left. Good. You caught on really fast for someone who said they didn't know how to dance. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're gonna start with our basic step. Back, forward, and back, and forward. Good, and back, and forward, and back to the side. Without the styling first, side, side, side. Nice. You got good hip movement too. This is great. So now,
No one's ever said that before, ever.
now for the cross back, I am gonna release your hand.
Okay.
And that's when you can do your arm up and like this.
See how it
You're
goes.
gonna see how it goes? Okay. Ready, and. Yes!
Oh,
Nice! Basic step and ba. Oh, you know exactly what you're doing. This is great. So let's finish our last time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna release your hands when we go to the side so you can do your shoulder to shoulder
Okay,
thing, okay? Okay. Okay, and now, and shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to shoulder.
Wait.
Shoulder. So touch here, good. Here, and here.
Is this like ridiculous?
Babe.
He's like, oh no,
Oh, no, you look fine, okay? And basic. Stop. Cross back, cross, and cross, and cross, and cross, and cross,
You know.
and cross, and cross, and basic, and ba, and da. Aye! Very nice. Good job. Good job. You did great.
Thank you.
That was pretty awesome.
Just so people know, where can they learn more information about you guys?
So the best place to go is either, well, there's actually 3 places. There is Facebook, Instagram, actually the third place, our website, which is arohaafrolatindance.com.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Guys, this is such a treat. I am joined by Ranger Mike, and we are at Adelia Castle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. So good to see you.
I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. I want you to tell me all about this place, and it's so rich in history.
Indeed, it is. In fact, this is it's a National Historic Landmark.
Yeah.
One of only two that we have in the South Carolina State Park Service.
All right, so tell me the story.
So this was the winter home of Archer and Anna Hyatt Huntington. Those are the people who built Brookery Gardens, which is literally right across the street. Anna was a world-famous sculptor who made a self-made woman. She was considered probably the 10th wealthiest self-made woman in the country at the time she married her husband, Archer Huntington. Archer was one of the wealthiest men in the country. He'd inherited a vast fortune from his father, Hollis B. Huntington. Made the original Huntington family fortune with California Gold Rush, selling supplies to folks hoping to buy gold. Turns out that's where the real money was. Then invested that into Transcontinental Railroad, helping to build the first railroad, unite east and west coast of the country together, and then invested in the Newport News shipyard. So Archer's his only son inherited this vast fortune from his father.
And clearly he did a pretty good job spending some of that.
He did. In
I
fact,
might say so.
yeah, so Archer actually devoted his whole life to philanthropy, giving that fortune away.
Yeah.
He used to joke about himself that wherever he put his foot down, a museum was shortest to string on. That was kind of his hobby. In addition to building Brookery Gardens, he also built the Mariner Museum in Newport News and the American Hispanic Society Museum in New York City.
That's incredible. And to think we have this gorgeous structure now to come here and enjoy. It's a little different than it probably was back in the day when they were living here.
A little bit, yeah. So what actually brought the Huntingtons to South Carolina? They had very fine estates in New York and Connecticut. But shortly after they were married, Anna had been diagnosed with tuberculosis. So it was actually a search for health in a warmer climate that brought the Huntingtons originally to South Carolina, which still brings a lot of folks here. And nowadays, that huge chunk of land is now mostly Brookery Gardens, but 2,500 acres on the east side of Highway 17 became Huntington Beach State Park in 1960. And then also parts of the land that they own on Sadie Island and the Waccamaw River are now parts of the Waccamaw Wildlife Refuge.
Wow. And you can come and see this castle today, but what is there actually to tour?
So the Adelia Castle, which by the way, castle is what everybody in the community called the building. It's not what they simply refer to it as Adelia, which is Spanish for watchtower, by the way. And it refers to the very literal centerpiece of the building right behind us. Having never lived in the South before, the Huntingtons were very concerned about mosquitoes. So they built a watchtower that was really a water tower that was also meant to double as a giant bat house. They wanted bats to live in the watchtower. They wanted those bats come flying out every night eating the mosquitoes, and they figured that would solve the problem. But honestly, they hit on a more practical way of avoiding mosquitoes. That is, they just went visit in the winter times. It's never that big of an issue.
You can't really avoid the mosquitoes here in the South End.
Unless you only visit in the winter.
True. All right, Ranger Mike, I appreciate you talking to me about this. Where can people go to get tickets? Do they have to get them here? Can they get them online? How does all that?
So the admission into Adelia is separate from the park admission. So the admission into Adelia is $2 per person. Adelia during the warmer months is open from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. And you can buy your tickets right here at the building. Throughout the summer, there will be guided tours of Adelia on weekdays at 2 p.m. and on Saturdays at
This portion of Living Local Carolina is sponsored by Lawyer Lisa.
Joining us today is attorney Lisa Hostetler Brown to break down an important legal topic that could affect you. Thanks for being here.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown, and this is Legally Speaking with Lawyer Lisa. Today we're going to talk about planning ahead for the future, being proactive. It's called prevention planning. So what is prevention planning? Well, you may have heard about getting your wills, trusts, powers of attorney, healthcare directives in place. But prevention planning goes one step further. So in prevention planning, we're looking at some of the ancillary items that you need to get in order, things you need to get taken care of. You may not have a very close child living close to you who's emotionally and physically near you to be able to handle stuff for you. They may not know the inner workings of your finances. They may not know what your wishes would be if you got sick. So prevention planning is a great way to take control of what things might look like in the future and ease the burden on your agents. It's going to give them the peace of mind of knowing that you've thought through all of the issues that might come up in the future and that you've given them some direction on the things they might need to know for when they actually need to use it. Not every situation can always be anticipated, but there's a lot of stuff that comes up. So for prevention planning, things to think about. Does your agent know how to access your finances? Does your agent know how to get into your bank accounts online? You may have done a financial power of attorney and they have legal authority to access stuff, but if they can't practically get into your accounts, if they can't get into your iPhone because they don't know the password, if they can't access things that you have or it's all online and they don't know where it is or even that you have it, this is going to be a problem for you and your finances and for your agent. They're going to have to spend hours and days and weeks tracking stuff down. If you engage in prevention planning, you can proactively create lists, create directives, give advice, make sure that no assets are left behind, nothing gets left out, and take days, weeks, months, years of worry off of your agent. And it's going to give you the peace of mind to make sure that they understand that what you've done is set them up for success. One problem with agents is that they get appointed for people and it's too much work. They don't know what to do. They're busy with their own lives and their own families. They want to help, but it's a huge burden. If you can set your stuff up so that it's easy for them, that they can just follow your directions, it's more likely they're going to be able to serve and help you and that your wishes will be followed through. You can work with a professional who does prevention planning to help you get all of your stuff in order. There's something that we use called a Go Binder for prevention planning. It's an all-in-one place where all of your information is together and your family is going to know what to do. This is especially important if you don't have children or, again, you're not close to them. It's a great resource if you have anyone living far away from you. Now, prevention planning works in conjunction with your estate plan. So if you have a trust set up, it's going to coordinate with how your trust is set up and how your assets are titled. It's going to address things like in-depth thoughts about what you want to happen in the event that you become sick. Do you want to receive care in the home if you get sick? Do you want to go to a facility? What are your options for how you're going to pay for care? Are you a veteran? Are you entitled to veterans benefits? Where's all the information so that they can apply for those benefits? Proactive planning thinks about and looks at all of these things before you need it. Because in a crisis, it's very expensive, it's very stressful, and a lot of times nobody really knows the whole picture and they don't know what's going on. It also addresses things like your funeral arrangements. I know nobody wants to think about this, but if you can proactively think about what you want, get some of that information recorded, it's going to make it a lot easier for everyone. Nobody wants to guess about what you want. You can take the time to think this through and include it in your Go Binder. We have lots of resources to help with prevention planning and thinking ahead about what you want. Your situation doesn't have to turn into a crisis. You could be proactive with some of this stuff that's ancillary to your legal documents but super important for your family and your loved ones to know about. I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown. Thanks for joining me for Legally Speaking with Lawyer Lisa. We'll see you again.
Our thanks to Lawyer Lisa for sharing her valuable insight today. If you'd like more information or have questions on the topic, be sure to reach out at the website or the phone number on your screen.
This portion of Living Local Carolina is sponsored by Lawyer Lisa. Have you ever been somewhere that you can immediately tell has a story? Rain is falling over the 40 sprawling acres of Freewoods Farm. 40 acres and a mule named Maggie. Farmer Smalls invites me to sit by the fire, and I'm all ears.
Well, Freewoods Farm is a living farm museum. And we tell the story of the role of farming in African American history after the Civil War. At the end of the Civil War, you had almost 4 million newly freed slaves. And of course, we've been in slavery for about 2.5 centuries of slavery in the United States.
Despite their newly found freedom, the majority of these individuals were left with no education, no money, or even somewhere to go.
And the big question in the country at the time was, what are you going to do with these 4 million people? Well, this became a problem for General Sherman because you had a lot of emancipated people following the Union Army in order to get food and to get away from those plantations. So what he did, he took a strip of land stretching all the way from Charleston down to Florida that he called captured land. It's land that his military had captured. He took that strip of land, chopped it up into 40-acre lots, and gave each family 40 acres. And black people were very excited about that because they had a farm. They had 40 acres. Well, of course, Lincoln was assassinated. The new president came in and was soon decided that under the Constitution, the government can't take land from one person and give it to another. The government can take land, but only under the power of eminent domain. And under the power of eminent domain, the government has to pay for it.
And just like that, countless black families had to give up their new land.
And that was a very sad chapter because they had planted the fields and had crops growing, and they had to leave those farms. Now, I think it's important to point out that a few were able to keep the farms, and that was because of some sympathetic whites, and some worked out terms that the newly freed slaves could manage, and they could pay for it over a period of time. But basically, they didn't get the 40 acres. Freewoods Farm represents that 40 acres they didn't get.
Freewoods Farm was one of those rare situations where the newly freed slaves could work out a deal to pay for the farm. 2 more generations of black farmers worked tirelessly, growing crops like rice and even producing turpentine.
But it was this 3rd generation, the grandchildren of the original settlers. They served in the First World War, and they used their monies earned in the First World War to buy up the rest of the land in this area. So what we do here at Freewoods Farm is we tell the story of what they did, what those black farmers did during that first century of freedom.
Like Farmer Smalls said, a living museum where pictures, videos, and even interviews can't fully capture how it feels to stand on its soil and listen. You can find the farm at 9515 Freewoods Road in Myrtle Beach. To set up a tour, give them a call at 843-650-9139 or visit www.freewoodsfarm.com.
Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. How to use the QR code. Just open the camera app on your smartphone, iPad, or tablet. Point your device at the QR code so the QR code appears on your screen. Your device will recognize the QR code and show you a notification. Click that notification and you'll come to our website. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.